Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, Texas A&M has gotten their man. They've hired their coach, it appears. We're going to talk all about that. This was pretty quick, and I think it's a good, solid hire for Texas A&M. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into the skinny of who all they looked at, who they talked to, who they tried to get. We're going to talk about Tony VITELLO and also all these transfer portal guys from A&M. They've got some All-American, freshman SEC guy that's in the portal. And we'll talk about whether Michael Early can keep them or where they might head to and who they've been talking to. There's a whole lot in this show. And it's all over social media that says Texas A&M has hired Michael Early. And if you don't know who he is, he was their hitting coach the last 3 years, a really, really good one. Now, he's only 36 years old, so he's going to be able to relate to the players. The players are very happy about this. They were the ones that were really pushing for this guy and realized he had gone to Texas along with Schlossnagle, and I'm going to tell you something. He didn't look happy. As a matter of fact, he looked like a hostage. Oh, yeah. And to be able to get hired as the head coach of Texas A&M, it doesn't get any better than that. This guy has gone from, oh, crap, I guess I got to go over here. I don't know if I want to. I got to move. I got to do all these things. And then suddenly become the head coach. He's got to be on cloud nine right now. He really, I mean, it's like a dream come true for him. And like I said, I think a lot of the players at Texas A&M are very happy about this. He's very popular with the players. So this might be a really good move for them long term.
We're putting the band back together.
We'll see. You know, he's never been a head coach. He's been an assistant coach. I believe he's in Arizona State. He's been at Texas A&M for 3 years. But Tony VITELLO was never a head coach before he went to UT, and that's worked out pretty good. I think sometimes going with a younger guy, like I said, I think he's more of a player's coach, whereas I don't think Schlossnagle was really that at all, especially hearing from some of these former players that were like, they didn't care for him so much. Good coach, but I don't know that his personality melded very well with these younger guys. And also on social media, this is from Kendall Rogers, and the reason that this tweet is meaningful, let me show you who this guy is. Kendall is the managing editor at D1 Baseball. He's got about 158,000 followers, so he knows his baseball. And he's saying A&M made a very furious run for Tony VITELLO. It shot. But Tony stayed put and loyal to a program that has given him the keys to the castle. I couldn't agree more. If he had left, that would be the dumbest move in the world for him. He's got it made in Knoxville. He's going to get paid whatever he wants. He's got a $100 million baseball stadium that they're working on right now. It's going to be one of the most technologically advanced stadiums in the country, and it's going to be full of rabid VOLS fans who are going to be selling out every game, especially after winning a national title. We were already selling out prior to that. There was a couple of times you couldn't pay $400 to get a ticket over there. When I was at UT in the 80s, you could go over there and just watch the game. It was just no big deal. Now it's, what, $200, $400 to get a ticket to some of these games? It's crazy. I never thought I'd see that day. Well, that day's here. Said A&M also went after UVA's Brian O'Connor, but very difficult to get him out of Virginia. I heard that rumor as well. Link Jarrett was never an option for the Aggies. Link loves FSU and went back with Martin's blessing. There was no way he was turning his back on the Noles, so that's good news for FSU.
I can't wait for Tennessee to lose in football next year because that's what they do every year. And they won't win this either.
You sure about that?
So screw them. Who cares?
Skip Johnson, as I've alluded to, was never offered the job. He and Tom Walter were taken off the list when the early option arose. The surprise for me is that A&M did not take a hard look at Alabama's Rob Vaughn. I think Vaughn is a superstar and would have fit in great at College Station. And as far as Tony is concerned, this was his opinion on the deal.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
And here it's also being reported by VolQuest that they made a hard run at Tony, and they didn't get anywhere. Now, Kendall also reported, he's saying, expect every A&M player in the portal to stay put given this news. That would be great news for A&M because they've got some fantastic players that immediately went into the portal as soon as Schlossnagle went to Texas. And we're going to talk about that as well. And it's being heavily reported that Jace Lavalette, who is an All-American outfielder, he hit almost 30 home runs this year. He's been talking to Tony VITELLO. I understand he's also been talking to LSU. I don't want him to go to LSU. He needs to stay at Texas A&M or come to Tennessee. I don't want him at LSU. He's too good. Also, there's a fellow by the name of Gavin Grohavac. Gosh, these Texas A&M names, could they be any tougher? You got Schlossnagle, you got dadgum Jace Lavalette, and Gavin Grohavac. Good grief, these names are tough.
UUMELLMAHAYE. Oh, Melmahay.
Yes.
Anyway, a lot of people are thinking that they're going to stay at College Station because obviously they've worked with Michael Early. He's worked with them a ton. So I could totally see them staying, and that would be huge because both those guys are terrific players. And we played against them, and I'm going to tell you right now, both those guys, they're trouble. And here's Vol Report also saying that he did talk to Tony Vitello. So news out of Texas A&M is coming fast and furious. And I think this is financially a good move as well. Obviously, a guy that's never been a head coach, you can bring him in for a good price. I'm sure he jumped at the opportunity. He had to be absolutely loving life when he got that offer. I swear I saw that picture of him in that Texas uniform. It looked like a hostage. It just did. He did not look happy at all. So I don't know that I've seen anybody's fortune turn so quickly to go from an assistant coach at a place he probably didn't want to go to all of a sudden to come back as this, chosen one or whatever. And I don't know if he's going to be successful there or not. I know Texas A&M fans are pretty darn happy about it, and I know the players are. Now, granted, he's not proven as a head coach, and I totally understand that. But again, Tony Vitello wasn't either, so you might keep that in mind. And also with Texas A&M, short term, they seem to have a financial issue that they're working through, and also realize every team in the country is going to work through this year. Now, I've covered this a lot, but if you haven't kept up with the settlement between the NCAA and all of these lawsuits, there's a bunch of class action lawsuits where teams are going to have to share with the revenue with the players. And it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about $22 million a year. So for every athletic budget, and most budgets are around $100 million as far as the average for a college, well, 22% cut right off the top revenue is going to be really difficult. That's one of the reasons Texas A&M let 16 people go in April. And I've been telling y'all you're going to see a lot of that. And a lot of these coaches' salaries, it's going to be really hard to pay them crazy amounts of money because, again, there's only so much to go around. And when you've got $22 million that has to go out to players, that money's got to come from somewhere. And that's another reason why I think NIL will continue. The settlement doesn't even talk to the NIL situation. So a lot of these teams are going to have extra money to go towards the players along with the $22 million. But again, a lot of cuts are going to happen. And you're going to see many of these assistant athletic directors and player personnel people getting shown the door. That's just the way it's going to be. And this is going to go on for the next 10 years, and then there'll probably be some other setup. And this settlement doesn't preclude that there won't be additional lawsuits, but it probably handles 90% of them. So be looking for that to be coming in 2025. It won't be this year. It'll be next year when they start doing the revenue sharing. Until then, of course, the NIL stuff continues on, and it will continue on in 2025 as well. In my opinion, I think that goes on forever. And again, this has everything to do with the Sherman Act and the fact that the courts have ruled that everything the NCAA has been doing has been pretty much against the law as far as keeping people from being able to make money.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
So many changes coming to every school out there. It just so happens Texas A&M's got a $76 million problem because of Jimbo Fisher. Now, if there's any school that can handle that, it's a Texas school. Realize there are plenty of the J.R. Ewings out there, I said this yesterday, that are hanging around Texas A&M that will be happy to help them, but still $76 million down the drain to pay somebody not to work, that's tough. That is really tough. And there's also some assistant coaches, I'm sure, that were on the team that got bought out too. So you're probably talking over $80 million that have to be dealt with. And you've brought in this new athletic director who allegedly told Schlossnagle if he didn't like it, there's the door. Not in those exact words, but pretty much, hey, I don't want to hear any complaining about the $80 million baseball stadium. I got an $80 million problem over here in Jimbo, and I've been brought in to fix this issue. I just let 16 good people go, and you're in here complaining and bitching about a damn baseball stadium. I don't want to hear it. That's probably kind of what that athletic director was thinking. And Schlossnagle was sitting there going, I don't give a crap. I care about me. So I'm not getting a raise. I'm not getting this. I'm out of here. I'll go to Texas, which is, that whole situation was a mess. Anyway, did want to cover this. Michael Early being promoted to head coach, actually being taken from Texas, which I can't believe they do that to Texas. Can you believe that Texas A&M would go over there and undercut Texas like that and take one of their coaches? Texas would never do that to them. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college stories. If you've not subscribed, hit this little button right here. I'd appreciate it. It doesn't cost you a dime. And right over here is the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.